I was at overseas at Gulf, Middle East. Few days ago I landed USA. I had meetings with religious organizations and facilities whom my uniformed officers serve. I noticed management, they were really concerned about the safety and security of their facilities due to terrorist shooting incident which took place at New Zealand. Government, law enforcement agencies and officers performing duties out in the field work hard to keep the communities safe. All type of threats, including active shooters, we should know how to keep ourselves safe until help arrives to stop such threat. First of all, uniformed officer, they are a big deterrent. Shooter will think twice and less chances of attacking a facility where uniformed officers are present and have access to firearms. Officers performing duties at religious facilities must be alert when performing duties at church, mosques or temples, especially during, before and after crowded hours. Many religious facilities also got private schools. Officer who is assigned to monitor cameras must not leave his or her post unattended. Officers or staff watching or monitoring CCTV cameras must be alert during religious services or school hours. Keep an eye on suspicious activity. Remember, if the shooter decides to attack the facility guarded by an armed or uniformed officers, then you as an officer will be the first target by the shooter. So be alert at all times while on duty. You know, nowadays, most of the facilities have CCTV cameras. They have CCTV cameras. I always tell my clients, what is the use of cameras if no one is watching or monitoring them? Yes, they are good for an evidence, they can be used as an evidence. Why save money? Have a trained human body monitor cameras, so in case of an incident, an officer or staff can call law enforcement and authorities for help on time to stop unknown threats or loss. Camera will not call 911. Cameras will not call 911. Please have a trained human body monitor cameras, especially when you know the busy days and timings of an event at church, school, mosque, or a temple. Remember, safety is everyone's responsibility. It is everyone's responsibility. In situations of an active shootings, you will need to stay calm, act quietly and quickly, and make smart decisions in order to stay safe. The person monitoring cameras or anyone who calls 911 must not place a phone call if you are at the risk of being heard by the shooter. Everyone must download and use local law enforcement Live Safe app in case of an incident. If you see the shooter, try to remember the detailed description of their appearance, clothing, location, and weapons they are carrying. A majority of the community, they visit religious facility, attend services, and leave. All officers who perform duties at religious facilities and community members who attend the religious facilities must be fully aware of all exit doors, fire hydrants, and the surroundings, etc. Make a habit. World is getting full of psychos, and we never know what we get into. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Again, as I mentioned earlier, safety is everyone's responsibility. During an active shooting, there are 3 things you can do. There are only 3 things you can do. You must be prepared to make the important decision, either to run, hide, or fight if you find yourself in an immediate danger. If you can escape the threat without putting yourself or others at risk, do so immediately. As mentioned earlier, you must know multiple evacuation routes and do not move towards the threat. Leave your belongings behind. Leave your belongings behind and exit the area as quickly as possible. Do not stop. Do not stop once you decide to run, and try to prevent others from entering unsafe areas as you evacuate. Once you run, do not stop. Choose route carefully. People have been shot once they freeze by an exit door. Doors are not only the exits. Think unconventionally and do not attract shooter attention. Be quiet and stealthy. If you are unable to evacuate safely, follow the lockdown procedures. Follow the lockdown procedures, lock and barricade doors if possible. Barricade them with desks, chairs, shelves, bookcases, or anything big or heavy. If you are in a room that cannot be secured or you feel unsafe, consider seeking refuge in another nearby room that is more secured. Block doors. Turn lights off and silence electronic devices. Hide out of sight and away from doors and interior windows. Make a plan. Even while you are there, make a plan how you or others will get out if shooter gets into that room. Do not let anyone enter the room once it has been secured. Wait quietly until you know and sure that police presence is there and instructions received from police or alert app, and situation is resolved. Make a quick, smart choices when you seek refuge. Ideally, you will hide in a place that is out of sight, can be secured or locked, and provides some cover or concealment from the shooter. Your last choice is to fight. If shooter is an immediate threat to yourself, you must take physical action to protect your life and stop the threat. If you decide to fight, act with aggression and speed. Act with aggression and speed. Attack the shooter at close range until the threat is stopped. A moving target is much harder to hit than a stationary one. Consider fighting as a group. Again, consider fighting in those situations, consider fighting as a group and use fire extinguishers, chairs, or anything you can grab or use as a weapon. That's why while you're at the facilities, make sure where the fire extinguishers, everything is at. You can use that as a weapon. Some experts teach techniques where people stand beside the door and grab the shooter as he enters. At least one person, he goes for the arm, holds the gun. One wraps the legs, and others, they push him down using the body weight and hold him. Once the weapon is separated from the shooter, do not hold the weapon, cover it. Cover it, because you don't want, in case the cops, they come, they assume that you are the shooter. If you encounter any police officer, keep hands in the air. Keep hands in the air and fingers spreaded. Follow police officers' instructions and do not make any sudden moves. Remember, the first police officer on scene is there to stop the threat, and he's not there to treat you or provide comfort. The first officer on scene is there to stop the threat. May God protect us from such terrorist incidents. May God bless and stay safe. Thank you.